In a time long ago, in a land where snow-capped mountains touched the skies and dense forests whispered ancient secrets, there lived a brave explorer. Neither riches nor power were of interest to them, for their greatest treasure was the thrill of the unknown. It was on one such journey, while passing through a quiet, mist-covered village nestled in a valley, that they heard the tale of the dragon's lair. The villagers spoke of it in hushed tones, their voices tinged with awe and dread. Deep in the heart of the forbidden peaks, beyond a cursed river and through a labyrinthine forest, rested a cavern where a fierce dragon guarded untold treasures. But the hoard itself wasn't what captivated the explorer's imagination. It was the dragon, an ancient, intelligent being said to wield knowledge from centuries past. There is no book, no scroll, no poem that contains all of life's mysteries, an old storyteller whispered by the village firelight, his wrinkled face half lit by flickering flames. But the dragon has seen it all. They say its scales shimmer with the colors of forgotten worlds. The answers you seek can be found in its eyes, if you dare meet them. For many, the idea of facing such a beast was madness, but to the brave explorer, it was irresistible. The next morning, with the rising sun painting the mountains gold, the explorer set out. The villagers stood at the edge of their settlement, watching silently as the figure disappeared into the mist and the trees beyond. They were the first to admit many who had embarked on this quest before had never returned. Few even made it past the forest of shadows that loomed at the mountain's base. The journey was treacherous from the start. The cursed river was far more sinister than the explorer anticipated. Its waters were black and thick as though filled with ink, and the air was bitterly cold. Strange whispers echoed across its surface, growing louder the closer they came. But the explorer, wise and resourceful, used a raft of enchanted driftwood, a gift from the villagers, to cross with steady determination. The explorer navigated the dark waters with unwavering resolve, their eyes fixed on the distant shore as the whispers faded behind them. Beyond the river lay the forest of shadows, where trees twisted like haunted shapes against the gray sky. The forest was alive in ways it shouldn't have been. Roots moved like snakes, the air was thick with a strange hum, and the sheer darkness felt heavier than night. The explorer carefully navigated the labyrinth of this otherworldly wood, relying on their torchlight and instinct. Along the way, they began to notice symbols carved on the trees, cryptic runes that seemed to speak of the dragon's power, its abilities to see through time and protect a secret older than humanity itself. Finally, after days of struggle, they emerged from the forest on the far side of the forbidden peaks. Before them loomed a cavern larger than any castle, its entrance marked by massive stone pillars etched with claw marks. This was it, the dragon's lair. The dragon itself was nowhere in sight, but its presence was palpable. The air shimmered with heat and power, and the cavern walls glittered with veins of gold and gemstones embedded as naturally as tree roots in soil. The atmosphere was oppressive, yet deeply fascinating. A glimmer of fear sparked in the explorer's heart, but they forced themselves forward. Within the depths of the cavern, amid shadows cast by flickering pools of molten rock, the explorer's gaze fell upon a pair of massive, glowing eyes. They burned like twin stars, ancient, piercing, and impossibly wise. The dragon slowly emerged from the shadows, its scales shifting colors like a living mosaic. It was terrifying and mesmerizing all at once.
You are bold to enter my domain. Many have come here seeking riches or vengeance. Few seek what you do, knowledge.
The explorer knelt out of respect, not submission, but acknowledgement of the power and age of the creature standing before them. I've charted distant lands, mapped uncharted seas, and discovered secret ruins, the explorer said. But there is a limit to what one lifetime can unveil. You carry the wisdom of centuries. I have come to learn. The dragon studied the explorer for a long moment, smoke curling from its nostrils. Learn, it repeated, amusement flickering in its ancient voice. Knowledge is not something I give freely. It must be earned, shaped by those ready to wield it. Tell me, explorer, what makes a mortal like you deserving of what I guard? The explorer hesitated. How could one convince a being as timeless as a dragon? It is not for myself alone, they finally said, their voice steady. What I learn here will be shared with the world, to preserve, to create, to inspire others to dream beyond the edges of their maps. And for the first time, the dragon's fiery eyes softened and it laughed, a deep, rumbling sound that echoed off the walls. Your words come close to wisdom, mortal. Very well. I will test you. Suddenly, the light faded and the cavern melted away. The brave explorer found themselves standing in the heart of a desert, the sun blazing overhead while the hot wind carried ghostly whispers.
What is the most valuable treasure within my hoard?
The explorer was baffled. They hadn't even glimpsed the treasure yet. What could it be? They wandered through the surreal landscape, searching for an answer. They found piles of gems glowing like captured stars, relics from ancient civilizations, maps to lost lands, and even fragments of stardust. But it wasn't any of these that caught their attention. At the heart of it all was a single worn journal. Its leather cover bore the marks of time, and inside were pages covered in handwritten notes, sketches, and musings. It belonged not to a king or a mage, but to another explorer, one who had once stood where they stood now. The brave explorer returned to the cavern, holding the journal tightly. The dragon loomed in the shadows, its eyes burning with curiosity.
And what have you brought me?
"This," said the explorer, lifting the journal. "The most valuable treasure is this journal, not for its riches, but for its story. It captures the journey of another, the lessons they've learned, and the dreams they pursued. These are the treasures that outlast gold." The dragon's silence was thunderous. Finally, it leaned closer, a faint smile curling its mighty jaws.
You are wiser than most who have come before you. Stories and lessons, yes, these are the heart of true knowledge. Mortals are fleeting, but their stories carry the weight of eternity.
The dragon lifted its massive claw and gestured toward the walls of the lair. New symbols began etching themselves into the stone, glowing faintly. "Take this knowledge and let it guide you on your path. But remember, a story gains its strength not in being locked away, but in being told." The cavern shimmered once more, and before the explorer could respond, they found themselves back at the cavern's entrance. The great dragon was gone, but their mind was alight with new understanding. Over time, the brave explorer kept their promise. They shared what they learned, not only from the dragon, but from the world itself. Their journals inspired generations of dreamers, proving that the greatest treasures lay not in riches, but in the courage to seek truth and the wisdom to share it. And in doing so, the tale of the brave explorer became a story told for centuries, a new flame added to the eternal bond between seekers of knowledge and the dragon who watches over them. And so the world grew wiser, one story at a time.